Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today we're going to be going over my favorite spicy neutrals. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is all about spicy neutrals, and what I mean by that are neutral shadows but that have a little bit more oomph to them. Be it they are extra sparkly or they have some sort of shift. They are definitely not going to be the boring neutrals, you could say. I got this idea from Noopur Makeup here on YouTube. I've been watching her channel for a couple of months now, and she did a video like this. I think she also got the idea for someone else, but I'll make sure to link her video that she did a few months ago down in the description box down below, so that if you want to support another creator that you can. And I just selected 15 shades, some for my singles collection and then 10 from palettes, where I feel like, yes, if I had to pick my favorite spicy neutrals, these would be them. So let me clear the decks and get to some swatches. So before we get to the swatches, I will be swatching the shadow here on my hand so that I can move it around so you can see the shifts. And then I will also swatch it on my forearm here so that you can see all of the shades together at the end of the video. I'm filming this in natural lighting, so there's no studio lighting involved here, so that is going to alter how shimmery some things may look. So if you're like, hey, but I saw this shade on another creator's video and it looked a lot differently, that's because I try to film as much in natural daylight as possible, because that way we can actually see what it looks like in real life and it's not going to be altered by what things look like in studio lighting, because studio lighting can very often make things look more sparkly than they actually are, or make things look more interesting than they will be once they are on your lid. That's why I also want to show you like this, like the shade at least on a part of my hand that moves, so we can actually see what the shades like it looks like in all dimensions, which is really difficult to film if you don't have that. And we're starting things off with some singles. So I've selected 5 singles from my singles collection. I got a question the other day, like, what about like building your own palettes? I really want to get back into the swing of things with building my own palettes. I just haven't had the time. I've been traveling all summer. It's just something that I still want to do and incorporate more in the channel. I want to make it part of my Palettes Revisited, but it's just something I just haven't managed to do it. I'm only one person and there's not enough time in the world. And I actually immediately thought of this palette that I've created when I thought of the concept spicy neutrals. These are all of the neutral shades that are inherently more shimmery. So when I last did a massive reorganization of all of my single shades, I made a neutral matte palette, a neutral satin palette that you'll see in a second, and a neutral like sparkly, more fun shimmer palette. And you're looking at the third one right here. There are a couple of staples in here and some things that I really, really adore. But I'm going to be highlighting 2 of my favorite shades in this palette, one of which you sadly can no longer buy because the brand is no longer with us. And it's this one right here. I'll see if I can take the singles out so I can show them to you a little bit better. But here is that first shade. It's Starboy by Looxi. And if you've seen any of my videos that I've also done in the past with like building my own palette, like if I were to make my own palette, I think this shade has always been part of it. Looxi Beauty, no longer with us. They're no longer a brand, but this is essentially a silver with gold sparkle. That's how I would categorize it. So it's very sparkly, but it definitely has a really beautiful sheen to it. You can see that hint of gold that's running through it, and that's why I love this shade to pieces. It's really, really beautiful, and it is very impactful and shiny. It works in the inner corner. It can be used all over the lid. It just has so many different versatile things, and if you are adventurous, you can definitely work this into a look in many other ways. And the other shade I want to highlight from this palette, if the focus... So this is so shiny that my camera actually goes out of focus when I hold it up any closer than this. But this is Wondrous Night from Sydney Grace. This is a shade that Esther gifted me. It's her favorite Sydney Grace shimmer. And I can see why, because this is a really, really beautiful shade. And it's become one of my favorites too. So here is the swatch up close. And here is what Wondrous Night looks like when you swatch it. As you can see, super shiny, super impactful. It has a deeper base, almost like pewter taupe leaning, and then this really intense silvery rose gold bronzy sort of flash. It's a really special shade. I don't have anything like this in any of my palettes anywhere else in my makeup collection, really. Next up is a Z palette from ColourPop, where I keep all of those satin shimmers in that I told you about. So these are some of my favorite satin shimmers. There's a Natasha Denona shade in here from like the Lila palette and stuff like that, some MAC things. But one of my favorites in this entire palette is this. Again, it's like a silvery gold. I think I can move it around a little bit. Let's see if I can take it out. But this is Elixir, and this is by Clionadh. Clionadh used to do round pans as well, and I'm not sure whether they still do them or whether they ever restock these, but this is a beautiful shade as well. So you know me, I love my cool tones, so a lot of these things will be cool toned, but I love, again, a bit like Starboy where it has that gold flash, but here again we get a pretty strong silvery base, and then this silver and gold, it even has a hint of green almost, sort of flash to it. This is super special, again, very different from other things I have in other parts of my collection. And the other shade from this palette I want to showcase is another Sydney Gray shade. It's right next door. It's Tiara. And if you want to get just one taupe shimmer in your life and you want it to be good, get this one, because this is simply one of the best taupe shimmers ever made in the existence of makeup. Here is what that shade looks like. So Sydney Grace actually has several taupe shimmers, and I have plenty more in my collection right there. But what I like about this one is that it has this hint of like pink, making it slightly rosy, which is again so different for a taupe shimmer. You can see again that deeper base and then this really beautiful silvery rosy pink that it has. It's really, really beautiful. Next up is my Clionadh multi-chrome palette, and I'm going to be selecting one of these for you as well. In case you're unfamiliar, Clionadh is a Canadian brand that does a lot of really, really good multi-chromes as well, not just the round pans. But they do these small, like rectangular pans where they have loads of different formulas, all with multi-chromes if you are interested. So I have a lot of these like toppery things. There's some glittery things in here, but what they do that I feel a lot of other indie brands don't do is neutral multi-chromes. So I have a couple of the standard ones. These are the jeweled multi-chromes that have the black base, but a lot of this selection here in the middle is actually these more neutral leaning things. And I want to highlight a shade that is my beloved, which is right here in the middle. So let me take it out for you so I can show you. It is this shade right here. Looks unassuming, right? If you look at at it this way. This is Bloodline, and I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up in the pan. I don't think it will. But it actually has a really beautiful purple, blue, green shift. And that's one of the things I like about these Clionadh multi-chromes, is that it will give you, see, it's still just on camera, it just looks like a neutral, really. What they do is so many beautiful things. Now you can see a little bit of the pink coming through. I'm not sure whether my camera is going to pick up. Oh, there we have. Do you see the purple? So this actually shifts 4 or 5 different ways. It can look like a neutral in some lighting, but then when the light doesn't quite hit it, there you go. You can see that it has this blue, purple sort of flash. So it's very unassuming at first, which is what I like about it so much. And this is actually one of my favorite Clionadh singles. As you can see here in the palette, I have room for more, and it is my wish, hopefully for Black Friday this year, to fill up the rest of the palette. Now that we've talked about singles, I want to talk about some palettes as well, of course. Not entirely sure you can still get all of these things, but these were just the things that came top of mind when I sat down to conceptualize this video. This was one of the first things I thought of. This is Nice Weeds, that's what this translates to, by Glamshop. They're Polish, so a lot of the names of the shadows are in Polish as well. So I'm sure I would butcher this, but this shade right here, do you see that? Oh, it's one of the best flakies I have in my entire collection, and I don't like flaky shadows. I'm never a fan of them. But this one is absolutely beautiful. It has these like murky greens, a bit of warmth, and then these really beautiful cool tone shimmers in. It's such a beautiful palette in its own regard. But this shimmer in particular, it is really creamy. So here is what it looks like. Again, it's so bright, the camera struggles to pick it up. But do you see that texture? It's so, so good. So, so good. But then when you smooth it out, look at that. It's so foily. So, so beautiful and very intense. This is not for the faint of heart. And one of the things I love about Glamshop is how affordable they are, relatively, at least for me. I'm in the EU, so for me the shipping fees aren't atrocious with this brand. And that means that I just get to try these really fun emollient things. And this palette was around 21 euros, which I really think is a good value for money. I was also reminded of this palette. The queen of the flaky shimmer. The Melt Mary Jane palette. I got a question again the other day of people asking me like, hey, but what about the Mary Jane? Do you still love that one? I still love this palette. I still hold it very near and dear to my heart, but it was discontinued, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be talking about it all the time. But I think you can see just from looking at this palette which one I will be swatching. This one, indeed. Sweet Lucy, that's the one I reach for the most whenever I use this palette. It has some beautiful matte shades that I can set a look with, up with, and then it's super smoky shades. But this, I always call it a green-based taupe. I'm not really sure whether that's the case. Perhaps to some people it looks like a khaki. I'm not entirely sure. But I love this thing to pieces, and I think that Melt was vilified for the formula that was in here. Look at that. A lot of people didn't like it because it was so flaky, and it's a messy palette. Like, I cleaned it up before showing it to you guys. But look at that. It's like this really nice deep brown, and then it has this goldy green sort of gray flash. This is so, so nice. And I'm usually not a lover of really deep shimmers, but this one, for that smoky look, it's just perfect, and I really still love this shade till this day so, so much. One of my more recent loves is Bella Beauté Bar. They do some really beautiful things, I feel. Realm of Fairies, I feel, has some of the best cool tone leaning shifty shades, so that's why I wanted to feature it here. They do lean a little bit blue, I'm not gonna lie. Are they then spicy neutrals? I'm not entirely sure, but I just think that these can work really well. And my main love goes out to this shade here in the middle. It's a little bit flaky. It has a pretty silvery base, but then it has some blue as well. One of my biggest pet peeves with a lot of indie brands when they do these flaky shimmers that have shifts in them, very often the base will be cool toned, but then the shift will be warm toned. Very often they turn gold or peach or pink. But with the Realm of Fairies, it's the very first indie brand palette that I've tried that has a lot of these flaky, shimmery things in, but that actually has more of a blue silvery vibe rather than a gold pink peach kind of vibe. Is that shade in the middle. And this is what she looks like in a swatch. As you can see, an unassuming silver at first, but then that really nice hint of baby blue. So it even has like a lilac vibe to it. I can't really describe it. So the base of it is definitely a really beautiful cool tone neutral. I feel it looks better swatched than it does in the pan. Like in the pan, it looks like it's going to be a baby blue, but that silvery base and then this really beautiful blue lilac sort of shimmer to it. This is cool toned heaven. Since I'm nearly dropping this one, of course there's going to be a lot of indie brands in this video today because they tend to be the best at doing these spicy neutrals. However, I have some different options for you as well in a bit, but we're going to continue the indie train with the Barely Basics from Glaminatrix. This was sent to me in PR by Monolith. I didn't pick this out myself. I initially wasn't going to get this, but then last year they offered it to me and I was like, why might as well try it. And it has this really beautiful row of neutrals, then these greens, these warm tones, and these mauvey sort of neutrally things as well. It's got a full row of these toppery things that, I'm not sure if you can see, this doesn't really show up in the mirror, but they all have a different undertone. So these are really nice as inner corner highlights, or to make any of the looks that you can create with some of these mattes a bit more interesting if you layer them. But it also has this really beautiful row of just excellent, excellent shimmers. And of course, I'm going to go for the taupey thing right here. It's called Follow. And I think this is an excellent one. It's a great, again, neutral, like brown, taupe-leaning shade. It's just really pretty. And I really like this shimmer formula from Glaminatrix. It's still very smooth. It looks a bit flaky in the pen, and it definitely has a creamy texture, but it's not as creamy or flaky as other things. And here you can see that light brown base, but then this really beautiful, almost like silvery sort of effect that it has. It's really, really beautiful. So it looks perhaps warmer toned in the base than it does actually once it's on the lids. It's absolutely stunning, and Glaminatrix does a lot of these things. So even if you don't have this palette, but you were eyeing up other things, I'm going to be testing out some more Glaminatrix in this month. So if you see my review at the end of the month, there will be 2 Glaminatrix palettes that I'm testing out for you. The final indie brand I have for you is Glossgods, the Gal on Jupiter. Great cool tone, neutral color story. I still prefer the smoke and mirrors just ever so slightly, but I do think that from a texture perspective, if that's what you're looking for, this is more interesting to you than the smoke and mirrors. I just like the undertones in the smoke and mirrors a little bit better. But in here, that sort of taupey brown. I also like this one. I like this one too. I like this holographic silver that you get. It's got 5 mattes, 7 shimmers. They're all cool tone neutral. But I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to be selecting this one. It's called Meteoric Moment. This one is much more cool tone than in the new neutrals. So it's sort of like a cooler, bronzy sort of shade. It's really, really excellent. Here we go. Again, it's got this little bit of particles in there, so it's a little bit more glittery. But look at that base. Again, this slightly deeper base and this really beautiful silvery taupe. There's a little bit of a hint of gold just to neutralize it a little bit, but this is so pretty. Did I say that was the final indie brand palette? No, it's not. I also have a Blend Bunny palette here. This is the Longing palette, and a lot of people love Blend Bunny. I love them too. I think their formula is excellent. It's just always an issue for me that so many other palettes are so matte heavy. I'm not a huge lover of matte eyeshadow, but the shimmers that they do, I really like. I especially like this one in this palette. It's called When It Rains. It's like a bluey silver, and this is what I'm going to show you what I mean with everything like having a gold flash, because this does have a slightly gold flash, but it's really, really beautiful. And that's why I just wish that Blend Bunny would do some more like shimmers in their palettes, because the shimmers that they do are really, really good, but it's just like I just want more of them. That's the issue I have with Blend Bunny. I want them to just do more shimmers in their palettes, and then I like them a whole lot more. They seem to be doing that now, so that's a good thing. But here we get like a little bit more of like a bluey silvery base, and then it has this pink to gold sort of flash to it. It's really beautiful, but this is what I feel a lot of indie brands actually do. It's beautiful, but you only need like one of these things and then you'll have it for the rest of your life. And then I just have a couple of more like high-end things left. Now, Wycon, I don't know where to put them. I found this in Florence. They're an Italian-based brand. They're from Naples, and their stores feel very sort of Kiko-esque. But this palette, like at full price, it was like 50 euros. It was like they seem to be duping a lot of like Huda Beauty kind of things. So their palettes aren't cheap, but the rest of the store was like the same price point as Kiko, which I deem to be like the same price point as like a higher end drugstore product. But this was definitely a little bit more out there. When I was there, they had a sale on, so the cost for me wasn't that bad. But this is the Glam Eyes Coolest Shades. I'm not sure if they still do it. I bought this a couple of years ago, but it has this, like both of these shades are beautiful, but this one especially, you can tell that's the one with the dent, right? It's called Drama, and it definitely serves all the drama. I don't love the mattes in this palette because they're very pastel-y. Like it's a little bit light and pastel-y, and I don't really get the shades I would want, but it's still a beautiful palette nonetheless. I'm forgetting to show it to you on my finger. Hold on. Here is what it looks like on my finger, and here is what that shade looks like when you swatch it. It's really, really beautiful. I'm now seeing that a lot of my favorite spicy neutrals fall into that Starboy sort of category that I started off with, where it's like a silver with like a silver to gold sort of flash, because this has a hint of gold as well. Really, really beautiful. I think this is an excellent shade as well. And for the finale, I of course have to give you some of my favorite neutral, spicy neutrals from these high-end luxury brands like Natasha Denona. I keep saying how much I love the fact that we get these different formulas in Natasha Denona palettes, and I love the fact that we get these textured shimmers. And in the Xenon palette, there is one of my favorite shimmers from Natasha Denona. It's the one here in the bottom. It's called Skiff, I think. And it's, again, this like taupey number. It's not going to look any different to anything else I've shown you, I'm sure. But that's just where my preferences lie, you could say. And this is, it feels a little bit thinner than these indie brand things. But again, this like taupey, silvery type of thing. This is a little bit more of a topper, which is why I like it. But look at that. Look at the shine. Oh, this is so beautiful. There's a reason why, like, I've never reorganized this palette because I just love this shade too much. And here is, again, the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. And one of my long-standing favorite neutral shades is actually from the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. Not sure on the status of this. They brought this back for a hot minute. It may still be on the official Huda Beauty website if you're still looking for it. But this shade right here, I think it's called Energized. It's one of the best things ever. It's not that special compared to some of the flaky things I've just shown you, but it's just a really good, solid shimmer that I just really, really enjoy till this day. I mean, it's got great pigmentation. Oh, I'm swatching it in the wrong place. It's just really, really well pigmented. It has a hint of that rosy tone that makes it just go perfectly with the rest of the palette. Pretty much whenever I wear this palette, I reach for this all over the lid all the time. So if we're talking like a good spicy neutral, this is it. Huda Beauty is definitely one of the front runners when it comes to those things, I feel. Last but not least, the Ethereal Eyes Moonlight Edition by Makeup by Mario. Of course, where would we be without this cool-toned beauty? It's between these two. I like both of them equally. I think I'm going to swatch this one for you. And like with the Natasha Denona, this is going to look a little bit more like a shimmer or like a topper at first. But what I like about these Makeup by Mario shimmers is that you can layer them and therefore create different looks every single time. So here is what it looks like. So it's a little bit thin, a little bit just like a touch of sparkle at first. But the more you build it, the more it's going to look as intense as some of the other shades I've actually swatched. But that's why I like this formula, because it is pretty and sparkly at first, but it also has the ability to transform any look that you do. And of course, I'm swatching this in the worst place, but in case you were wondering, here are all of the shades. The Makeup by Mario is right here in the fold, so I'm not sure if you can see that. And this is what I mean with struggling to show you this on camera and have the light hit it perfectly so you can see the shifts. It's impossible on my forearm, but here are all the shades I swatched for you in the video today. So we started off with Looxi Starboy, then we have Wondrous Night from Sydney Grace. Next up is Elixir from Clionadh. Then we did Tiara from Sydney Grace, Bloodline from Clionadh. Then we did Glamshop, Mary Jane from Melt. Then we did the Realm of Fairies. We did Glaminatrix. This is the Glossgods Blend Bunny. Then we have Wycon, Natasha Denona, Huda Beauty, and Makeup by Mario, which is also here. So I'll make sure to screenshot this and to put the names on the screen as well so you can have a look. But these were my spicy neutrals. Let me know in a comment down below what your spicy neutrals are. I would love to know. And I will also be doing a one and done shadow video. Let me know if you want me to film it like this, like top down style and swatch everything out for you, or if you want to do it like talkie on the couch style, because I can do both ways. But yeah, that's going to come up sometime next week, and we still have a full week left of palette month, so I hope you're still tuned in for all of the eyeshadow palette related content I still have to share with you. We are going to be doing a little bit of a detour tomorrow, because then I have the new Catrice stuff for you, because that's now in. I managed to get myself organized so I can film that for you. So check back tomorrow and the rest of the week for more eyeshadow palette related content, and then I really hope to see you again really, really soon in a new video. Bye-bye!